Hey everyone, welcome to Friday.
Happy
Hope
Friday!
everyone's having a good Friday.
Good Friday.
Good
Friday. But
Good Friday.
Easter is coming. Jesus is on his way.
Sunday's Easter.
Sunday. That's right.
We still celebrate in the Novella household. Various Novella households. We celebrate a secular Easter. Just like I know Evan celebrates a secular Passover still.
That's right.
Right?
A what now?
Oh,
that's right. Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Yes.
It's all about food.
Yeah, food.
Food,
Eggs
people.
all over the house.
And stuff for the kids.
Wait, before we get too far, I want to we got to shout out Paul for gifting the 5.
Yes,
membership.
thank you, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
And also the other people
Nice.
who got
Good
the membership is D Bullhorse, and then Clayton and Juice and Keith and Jason.
Wow.
Look at all that. So thanks for the
That's very nice.
Nice.
You guys are awesome.
Thank the baby Jesus.
Thank the baby Jesus.
It's a Good Friday miracle again. Wait, the miracle didn't happen until Sunday, right?
Right.
Sundays,
Sure.
right?
Sunday
That's how
morning,
the whole thing.
9 a.m.
Well, so let me get the timeline right. Okay, so there's a last Sunday
today,
was
right?
Palm Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I got that right. And that was the day of the Seder, right? That was no. That's
Palm Sunday. No, the Seder was the Last Supper. The Last Supper was
but the Last Supper didn't happen on Palm Sunday.
No, Palm Sunday has nothing to do with anything else. That was just Jesus was. I forget what town he was arriving.
Who cares?
And they laid palms down on the road as he was coming.
Jerusalem, wasn't it Jerusalem?
Was it Jerusalem? Yeah. So
something like that. I don't know.
I think so.
That's where he was born. Or that's what
he was born in. No, he was born in
Nazareth.
He was born in Bethlehem.
Oh, Bethlehem, but he was a Nazarene.
His parents were from Nazareth.
Right.
He was born in Bethlehem. And that's the whole thing about the people who say that a guy named Jesus probably existed at the core of the story, because otherwise, why would they go through all of the shenanigans to have the Messiah born in Bethlehem when clearly he was from Nazareth?
Right.
Because he had to be born in Bethlehem to fit the prophecy. So they just had him. His mother and father go to Bethlehem for a census or whatever, and so they think that's kind of, they retconned it. But why would they do that? What were they retconning?
Yeah.
If there wasn't, but I still think that's naive. I think
bunch of silliness.
They could have been retconning another false story. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that any of the elements of it actually happened, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's a weak argument. I just think it's a weak line of evidence.
It was Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what it was.
Right.
So what is Palm Sunday then?
It's just to celebrate. It's like he was arriving in. I guess it was Jerusalem, and the people who had heard about the great prophet or whatever were taking palm leaves and laying it on the ground in front of him as his donkey was walking into town.
Yeah, people who don't care, here's a robot.
Bob, at some point he was arrested, right? And then put on trial, and then crucified on Good Friday.
He crucified, then he died like a couple of days later on Good Friday, and then he
died. Okay, crucified, but died on Good Friday.
They had to stay.
He got taken down. He got stabbed with the spear, right? Taken down, wrapped in the shroud, put in the cave behind the rock.
Yeah, they rolled a rock in front of it.
Rolled the rock.
Right?
Hey.
And then for some reason they unrolled the rock, or they came back to the cave and it was already revealed.
Well, I think there's conflicting stories because none of the
Bible doesn't conflict.
None of the New Testament Gospels agree with each other.
Right.
But
nobody took photos.
One idea was that the guard, like there was a prophecy that he would rise, so he moved the stone away to prove that he was there, and then of course he wasn't there.
Right.
The other one is that he magicked the stone away and walked. I don't know.
It just like flew up into space.
And then and then
he just got more magical as the Gospels went on. You know what I mean?
Did.
They're like, how do we end this story? I don't know.
It's like we need an ending.
Not in each gospel. Each iteration of the story got more magical.
Right.
So, like the first gospel, probably that was written, the shortest one, Mark. Jesus doesn't do a lot of miracles. He's very physical. He's not. But then by Luke's gospel, he's virtually floating over the ground. I mean, he's just way more overtly magical and miraculous.
Got it.
Okay. That was the evolution of the story.
Yeah.
Right. Which is just another reason to think that it's all a story. Because it kind of evolved like one.
And also, I guess it's technically 2 days he was gone, not 3. Yeah. It's just that they kind of like, close enough, 3-ish days.
But why? I know but they always say on the third day.
Yeah.
Maybe it was technically 3, even though it was a Friday to a Sunday. Saturday. I don't know. Friday morning to Sunday night.
Force the Trinity, maybe
it
somehow.
Was more than 48 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Right.
A bunch of stuff. But anyway,
he rose on the third day, just like E.T.
Yeah, we paint eggs and we have bunnies and chocolate bunnies.
Yes, so and then all of that, part of the magic. Part of the magic.
And jelly beans.
And there it is. And there's our Easter sermon, I suppose. Is that it? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Being, obviously not of the faith and not having been steeped in it. It's important for me to try to understand it as best as possible, and I probably understand it as well as anyone else,
as well as we understand.
Exactly, as well as any such set of ideas have ever been expressed. Okay, good. That's putting it kind. Now, on to reality.
Well, here's the thing, Bob. I found a thing on Reddit, which is, that's saying something, but I'm not sure if this is what you're going to be proposing to do at Nauticon, but I saw this and I thought of you. This is from 1865, a street vendor selling mummies.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Grave digging.
Priceless artifacts that they just grabbed and trying to make a quick buck. Who cares about...
grave robbing was a huge, huge.
Oh yeah, man. It wasn't too uncommon, unusual in that it was just like pristine, and cursed.
Well, there is that.
There is that issue,
but is that legit? Anyway. Is that a legit picture? Or...
I mean, I don't know. That's what it is, of course, Reddit. So who knows? But there's some claims also that people used mummy brown, which I don't know how true this is, but as a pigment, like they would grind down mummies to use.
I don't remember that in the Crayola box.
Pigment.
Oh my god!
Which I don't know what chat.
Hand me the mummy brown.
Oh, where's Jay? Jay is sick. He's lost his voice. He got something from his kids.
Damn kids.
Your
kid's dead. Yeah, the kid. He's doing psychic readings like Sylvia.
Jay,
influencer.
I'll give Jay a little bit of a presence here. He sent me this video today.
Yeah.
Yes. Here we go.
That's where this came from.
What the heck?
Uh-oh. What the heck is that?
He just sends me weird, creepy shit like that. Just some AI stuff. But he also sent me a recording. A recording.
Oh.
Of himself?
Yeah.
Let's hear.
one more time.
I think we heard it.
So that's because his voice was so messed up from his cold. He had to text me, a recording of his amazing
vocal
cords.
Oh, I wish
one does.
I laughed all day. No, poor Jay. I mean, I'm not laughing at his illness, but just little funny things.
So what should
All
we
right.
talk about? The systematic dismantling of American democracy?
Been
Sure.
there, done that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ice. Who drinks
Yes,
ice?
I do.
Oh.
I
This
drink
is some
ice.
good shit. This is like
It's
my
very
one of my
good.
favorite drinks, and this is a specific type of ice. This is the
Yeah.
Starburst version of ice.
I've had the Starburst
Starburst
version.
ice.
And-
All 4 of the Starburst flavors are available.
Strawberry. This is like it. This is like my favorite carbonated drink. It's so good that there's such a great aftertaste, such a great finish.
If you enjoy those artificial flavors that Starburst gives you, absolutely that drink captures it. No doubt about it.
Yeah,
and,
I
yes,
wouldn't
I've
say
tried
it's. I wouldn't say it tastes like Starburst, but the
close.
fruity taste is. It doesn't. That doesn't matter. It just tastes. It's a great taste. Love it. Love it. If you
It's
like
10 calories for the bottle, Bob.
5.
Oh, 5. Yeah. So yeah, it's a low cal drink. There's no sugar in it, I believe. And yeah, it's a nice.
This is how I hydrate. This and coffee.
Well, I don't know if I hydrate, but it's a nice departure from like
it's
a
hydrating.
It will hydrate you.
Water with a
Okay.
few
It will
extra
hydrate you.
things, but it's water.
All right.
Totally fine.
No electrolytes, but
I
that's
don't
all
know.
right.
If
I
I
don't
wasn't hydrating, I'd be. If this wasn't hydration, I'd be dead.
You'd be dead.
It's kid's dead.
I'd be dead.
So Katy Perry is an astronaut, apparently.
She is an astronaut. That's true. Apparently, or a spacefarer or something.
The Katy Perry hatred is just like, wow, it's a
Why?
thing, man. It's
Well,
a thing.
Kind of disingenuous weirdness. I don't know.
There's
Also, the big thing is she worked with Dr. Luke, who is like a known like sexual predator.
What?
Like he's a producer who like did some crazy stuff to
Oh
Kesha,
my gosh.
who's supposedly her friend, and so it's like a whole like thing, you know. And so I mean,
You guys know who Kesha is, right?
Yeah, Kesha. Dude.
I know the name, and I know enough
Probably
not
heard
to
the song.
care.
Yeah,
Correct, because she
It's just-
spells
it's-
the
it's-
S in Kesha is a dollar sign.
I
I don't
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
know that much.
If
but
you have
yeah.
a dollar sign in your name / logo, whatever, that's
in your
that's
brand.
all I need to know.
You mean the money ethics guide to the universe?
Stuart
Okay.
wants to know what's the update on the new politics podcast you're working on.
Oh,
Well, not much, of one,
Well.
but we are doing one. It's going to be me and Andrea Jones-Roy, and we'll probably rotate a third person out
token
each week,
conservative.
depending on the topic. Not
No,
token, just
topic specific.
topic specific expert.
Yeah.
Rotated in there, and we're going to address, political issues, but from a nonpartisan, skeptical, critical thinking, fact-based point of view. But it's also going to be about politics itself, because Andrea is a political scientist, so that's her gig. So yeah, it's still in the formation phase.
Yeah,
we haven't recorded anything yet. Probably we'll start to, we're doing the preliminary stuff, like coming up with things like, a name for the podcast.
right.
Then once we have all of that infrastructure up, we'll start recording some test episodes. Probably sometime this summer, the first episode will go live. Something like that.
Yeah,
Sometime after I fully retire, which is
That's
the
right.
end of June.
that's true.
Right, that's when
It's
shit
happening.
is really going to start happening.
It's happening.
Now we're just doing in the preliminary phase, just teeing things up.
No, Marty.
Steve, the audience has an
No,
update
Marty.
for us. Apparently, Kesha at some point dropped the
She
dollar
did,
sign
yeah, that's true. She dropped $1.
and replaced it, I guess, with an S.
Just with an S or with a, but she changed the E to a euro.
Oh, that's right. And
Very European.
So
Yes, this is the way. When we start our cryptocurrency, that'll be skeptics. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, if Trump could make $1 billion deregulating the
God.
cryptocurrency,
Can't we?
industry,
I know it's true. All right, so there was some sad news. I don't know if you guys talked about it on the show, but Mr. Eclipse, Fred Espenak, recently passed away.
oh no,
we did not talk about it on the show.
no.
Yeah, so I think it was on either late Wednesday or Thursday that we
It was
posted.
it was too
about
late. It was too late
Yeah.
after we recorded. We did, however, talk about Wink Martindale.
Mm-hmm.
Who
We
also-
did it.
who
Yeah,
also
that is
died this week.
tomorrow's release. Yeah, but no, Fred. Oh no, gee whiz.
Yeah, so a lot of people were tagging us in this. So just
Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Yeah.
That sounds not good.
Do you know what idiopathic means?
Non-typical, atypical.
No.
Pathic, pathology. So you can't figure it out. Something wrong that they can't figure out.
It means we don't know what's causing it.
Oh, that's the worst.
That's what idiopathic means?
Yeah, it means we don't know what the cause is.
Like idiosyncratic almost. Like
So would you call fibromyalgia idiopathic?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not even really a thing.
Right.
It's a bucket.
It's
a bucket of
it's a placeholder
of idiopathic
diagnosis.
aches and pains.
It's what we call a garbage pail diagnosis.
Yes. Is Lyme disease that as well?
No, Lyme disease is a real
No, what's the one? What's the other one?
You're talking about chronic Lyme.
Chronic, yes.
You know, chronic Lyme is a fake illness.
Right.
It's not even. It's not even. Doesn't even rise to being a garbage pail diagnosis.
So it's not even fibromyalgia.
No, it's just straight up fake.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't exist.
Someone wrote Steve Novella with all dollar signs and euros, and it's like it because there's a lot of E's. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Well done, Noisy Nick. Discord, become a patron of the SGU. You too can join us in the patron.
That's true. Discord. You can ask a bunch of questions in there too, which we will check out in a moment.
And clearly we pay attention.
I mean, we could do some rage baiting if you guys want to.
Sure.
Oh, you're gonna get us mad?
I didn't hit my quota of rage.
Yeah, you didn't hit your heart rate.
But it's Good Friday. I thought it's
so apparently this has been published that it is officially, according to the government, a lab leak is what COVID.
Well, there you go.
They just declared it official.
They just declared it.
Don said so.
What, the White House? Trump did?
Yeah, apparently the COVID.gov website, I believe, is the website that specifically calls.
But what is the latest theory? I mean, what is the I mean, how
blame
are we? Is it more likely lab leak now, or
you want the 5-minute sort of summary?
We want the.
Well, listen to they're blaming Fauci for pushing the quote unquote preferred narrative. This is all bullshit.
Scapegoatery.
So first of all, I've done a really deep dive on this because this keeps coming up. So first of all, so the original hypothesis was, well, we didn't know where the virus came from, and the two hypotheses were it either leaked from a lab, it came from the Wuhan lab, or it came from the Wuhan meat market, right? And scientists were agnostic towards these two, and so originally the approach to figure out whether it was likely to come from a lab or likely to come from a natural origin, like the meat market, was an analysis of the virus itself.
Right.
But there were some early people coming out with conspiracy theories about it being a lab release, like a deliberate release, but that was quelled by demonstrating convincingly that the virus itself was not engineered. Right, so you have a natural virus; it was not engineered.
Okay,
that was 2020. Right, so the engineered and deliberately released theory was squashed, and it's a naturally occurring virus, probably a zoonotic, jump over, probably coming from the Wuhan wet market. By June of 2021, you start to see the term lab leak come out. This is a year later. The first occurrence of it, I think, in the media, and this has been, somebody published a study where they just tracked every occurrence of the word lab leak, was in February of 2021, but it didn't really spike until June. So that became the replacement theory for the engineered theory, right? Because it's compatible with a virus that wasn't engineered. They're saying, okay, it was a natural virus. It wasn't engineered in any way, but it accidentally leaked from the Wuhan virology lab. But again, they had no reason to say that. That was just the new hypothesis, pure speculation. And so,
where did it come from? Were they grabbed it from nature or induced it within the lab?
Well, again, the question is, were they doing gain of function research or not? And but it may be either way. You could say it was they harvested that virus from nature, or they did, and they did a little bit of gain of function research, even though there's no telltale signs of any engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in any case, so that's basically where things have sat for the last 4 years. But there's two approaches to the question, right? One, you could take a medical, epidemiological approach. You could track the occurrences of the virus early on and the specific, genetic features of the virus, and then try to trace it back. And so most virologists think that the virus was a zoonotic spillover coming from the Wuhan wet market based upon that line of evidence, epidemiology and virology. However, they haven't found the smoking gun. They haven't found the source species. So they're not able to say, oh, the coronavirus from a bat combined with a coronavirus from a weasel forming COVID-19. They haven't been able to connect those dots, which leaves the door open slightly for the fact that it wasn't a zoonotic spillover.
Right. It can't be eliminated. Right.
Cannot be eliminated. But the consensus of scientific opinion is zoonotic, natural origin from or around the Wuhan wet market. The intelligence agency takes a completely different approach. They're approaching it not as an epidemiological question, but as an intelligence question. And what they have said is China is being squirrely. They are not giving us all the data we would like to see. They are hiding something. We think they're hiding something, or at the very least, they're just not being upfront with us.
Incomplete data.
They're playing their cards close to the vest.
Okay.
But they said, but we have no smoking gun that it was a lab leak. We have no smoking gun that China is covering something up. We just don't like the fact that they're not being transparent. And they've said, about 3 or 4 months ago, I think was somebody from the CIA, I think it was the director, summarizing and said, so we think we have no idea, but maybe it's slightly more likely that it's a lab leak because of the way China's behaving.
Well, that's conjecture.
That's it. That's it. That is it. There is no smoking gun of a lab leak. There is no virological or epidemiological evidence of it. It's all just the intelligence community is mad at China for not being as transparent as they want them to be. So they think they're hiding something. That's it. That is it.
Right.
So I find the actual epidemiological evidence to be more compelling, as do most scientists.
That would make
the
sense.
Intelligence community obviously relies upon their evidence, their intelligence, but they say we don't know. Their answer is we do not know. So the fact that Trump is now spinning this into it was definitely the lab leak is total bullshit. Total
not working.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But that is the regime we are now living under, where Trump, and we talk about this on the show this week. Again, this is not partisan. This is just what we're dealing with. He wants to be an authoritarian who can control information. He wants to have control over facts, control over information, over who can ask him questions, over which reporters can get, can interview him, can get into the press pool,
right, over who could teach what,
over who could teach what, over who could say what, and completely shutting down free speech when if he does not like the speech. He is trying to chill speech using bullying tactics, and he is trying to shut down the collection of data that might be inconvenient for his narrative. That's what's happening. It is a systematic attack on every institution of Western civilization. And it's a power play. It is a naked authoritarian power grab. That's what's happening. If you don't see that, you are in abject denial. And I have read that opinion from now dozens and dozens of commentators from different across the political spectrum, very sober-minded, reasonable people that I've been reading for years and years, who are like, yeah, this is what's happening. And you should be very afraid. This is 100% happening. And even this is coming from like conservatives, like David Brooks wrote today in New York Times, like we need a revolution, like we need a social movement, a unified social movement to
Brooks, right? Yeah.
Yeah, David Brooks. I mean, who's like a conservative. The guy was a lifelong, Republican the last 30 years or whatever. And it's like, yeah, this is not normal. This isn't what's happening, and we need a not normal pushback. We need, a social movement that unites all of the different institutions that he's trying to separate. He's trying to divide and conquer. And the extent to which we let him do that, we will fail. So like the fact that legal law firms are like trying to pick each other off rather than banding together is just despicable.
Yeah.
I mean, so Columbia is getting a lot of shit for caving early on, and they deserve every ounce of the shit that they're getting. And now Harvard, luckily, has done absolutely the right thing by telling Trump to fuck off, and hopefully that will be a turning point. And at least but even if all the universities unite together, that's not enough. We have to unite all of the different institutions in one voice to say, you cannot do this. You cannot deconstruct the institutions of our civilization systematically like this. It is a disaster happening in real time in front of our eyes. I mean, you can't pretend it's not happening. What has he not tanked already? This is not whatever. I mean, I don't know how the only people I hear who are like, oh, everything's fine, are just ignorant. I mean, they're just like, they are listening to Fox News and they think everything's fine, but they do not have, they don't have the actual facts.
Maybe they'll get it once they're in El Salvador.
Is the but to wrap up the COVID thing?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
The fact that it's 5 years now, and
we may never know.
Inconclusive. We may never know.
We may never know. Yeah, and we don't always find the smoking gun crossover on a zoonotic virus. So it's not unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, and that's just the way it is, right? We may not have the evidence. We probably will never find out for COVID, which is unfortunate. But that's the way it is. But scientifically, we know as much as we're going to know probably, and it doesn't really matter. It's just politically. Again, it just keeps the door open for science deniers to tell.
There's no way the AI supercomputers can like game it 12 trillion different ways and
maybe
87% chance it's this. And
I'll never say no to that. Like, is there some kind of new analysis that some kind of AI algorithm could do to maybe, but using the tools that we have today, that's the best answer that we have.
All right.
Not Grok. We're not Twitter's AI. We're not going to do that one. Speaking of Twitter,
Twitter,
here's one more thing. Maybe they'll raise our blood pressure a little bit, and then we'll do some fun stuff. I promise, chat. Don't worry. So this is RFK.
Oh, we got to get real too. Oh, fucking right.
Oh, Good Friday, RFK.
Good. So you probably have heard some of this. He's talking about autism here and people who have autism specifically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh no.
This is an individual tragedy as well. Autism destroys families. More importantly, it destroys our greatest resource, which are our children. These are children who should not be suffering like this. These are kids who, many of them were fully functional and regressed because of some environmental exposure into autism when they're 2 years old. And these are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. And we have to recognize we are doing this to our children. Sir.
Wow, man.
So anyway,
what a fucktard.
Wow,
So
you got a lot of pushback from that. That's
well, first of all, autism is a spectrum. And there are many people who have autism, who are autistic, and that's the way they like to refer to themselves, because it's not something they have, it is something that they are, that are just fine. Thank you. They are living their life. They are productive members of society. They are doing just fine. They are just neuroatypical. That's it. Now, of course, he's talking about, the other end of the spectrum where there is significant impairment. But that's not autism. That's not everybody with autism. But of course, the bigger thing there is his just assumption that this is an environmental thing that being done to children who are then regressing into autism. That is straight up wrong.
Yeah.
That is factually straight up wrong. And it tells you just how willing RFK Jr. is to just change reality to fit his narrative. It's bullshit. When we study children who are autistic and you look at evidence back, you can make the diagnosis farther and farther and farther back. Up to 6 months, right? Because before 6 months, they don't have the behavior to diagnose. But as soon as they're able to manifest behavior, which can be characterized as being on the autism spectrum, you could make the diagnosis. So in retrospect, they're not normal, or typical children who then regress into autism. That is complete anti-vaccine narrative bullshit. And this is exactly why RFK Jr. is a dangerous pseudoscience, and having him in charge of the healthcare of our country is, as I think David Gorski said it the best, that this is an extinction level event for federal healthcare. It is the worst case scenario. It is the monkeys running the zoo. All due respect to monkeys. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And there's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to say, well, I like this aspect of him, whatever. Nope, he's
just a little wrong here. It's not a nuance.
Horrible.
It's total garbage.
Do you think we're at the point? So every now and then, I think, are we at the point now where if we could just go back in time and everybody who voted could somehow get some magical insight as to what the next 6 months?
If we held the vote today, what would the vote be? Is that what you're
right? I guess that's another good way to put it.
I don't know.
Right? Are we at that point where it wouldn't happen because everyone's like, "What the hell, man? I didn't expect all this shit."
Yeah, I think there was a poll out about that it was still pretty much a toss-up.
Yeah, which is crazy. Which is just crazy.
It has a high floor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has a very
It depends what people's priorities are.
We'll see if the floor falls out. Who knows?
Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right, so here's
you're up for 2028.
All right, let's do some fun stuff. I gotta leave.
Fun us up.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Well, that's right. Steve's got an early out.
So we'll just.
But Bob will be here to entertain everyone until 9:30 tonight.
A little dancing.
Watch me eating Indian food.
Oh,
and washing it down with
leftovers.
Starburst drink.
All right, somebody sent us this one. It was Olivia. It was a little Elon.
Somebody. Hi, Olivia.
It was a little Elon hack. Let's see. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Elon. Can we be friends? Will you be my friend? I'll give you a Cybertruck, I promise. Okay, look, you don't know the level of depravity I would stoop to just for a crumb of approval. I mean, let's be real. It's not like I had any moral convictions to begin with, right? Wait. Hi, this is Elon Musk. Welcome to Palo Alto, the home of Tesla engineering. You know, they say money can't buy happiness, and yeah, okay. I guess that's true. God knows I've tried. But it can buy a Cybertruck, and that's pretty sick, right? Right? I'm so alone.
It's just, all right. Silliness, but it was fun.
Off, Elon.
Yeah, anyway.
It's...
Here's a little, maybe you don't know. Speaking of cars, did you know that the Toyota logo was designed to spell Toyota?
Let's see.
Does it look like it says Toyota?
In which language? English?
Japanese?
No, I'll give you a hint. This is a B.
B.
This is
Russian?
A U.
No.
This is an
L.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. IT.
Someone spent a lot of time for very little payoff there.
Yeah,
Trust me, I know.
Not even, not enough replies. 15,000 likes, though. I mean, I don't know. I guess
nowadays, that's like nothing.
That's nothing. You're right. All right. So there's some stuff, we've been doing a lot of TikToks on Wednesdays. If you haven't checked out the Wednesday stream, everybody, you should come out and or join us on Wednesday.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. But anyway,
join us.
This video basically gets to a lot of the stuff that we watch.
Stop eating eggs.
Eat eggs. Eat eggs.
Eat eggs. Eat eggs, please. Stop using black plastic spatulas.
Black plastics are the ones to really avoid.
Switch it out for solid wood spatulas.
Wooden spoons might be making you sick. If you think your spoons were clean, think again.
You should stop putting black pepper on everything. One of the most contaminated herbs and spices, actually, not on my eggs.
Water is a scam.
Stop drinking water.
No benefit to it.
No benefit
to water.
Oh my God.
That's basically what TikTok is.
Yeah, there's an industry of people not telling you not to eat things on TikTok. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
The air you're breathing is toxic.
Yeah. Stop breathing.
Stop breathing.
Depends what
You're
city
sleeping
you're in.
at night. What are you, insane?
I know. All right, here's one more, which is not, which is funny, but it's about ignorance. Let's say.
Ooh.
Professor keeps it real about quantum physics. Let's
do it.
So this is a very exciting day for me because today we're going to start quantum mechanics, and that's all we'll do till the end of the term. Now, I got bad news and good news.
Oh.
The bad news is that it's a subject that's kind of hard to follow intuitively, and the good news is that nobody can follow it intuitively. Richard Feynman, one of the big figures in physics, used to say no one understands quantum mechanics. So in some sense the pressure is off for you guys because I don't get it and you don't get it and Feynman doesn't get it. The point is, here's my goal. Right now I am the only one who doesn't understand quantum mechanics. In about 7 days all of you will be unable to understand quantum mechanics. Then you can go back and spread your ignorance everywhere else.
I like that. That's a good framework. That's a nice way to.
Nice.
Very honest.
Right. It takes knowledge to understand that you don't understand something.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why there's so many gurus and losers who think they understand quantum mechanics. It's true because they don't. They're too stupid to know that they don't understand it.
Exactly. All right. Before we end, why don't we do a food guesser? If you're
and the food guessing game.
Daily.
We're gonna do 19 minutes of this stuff.
No, we can talk about other stuff. There'll be questions.
We'll do questions. We'll do this and then questions and
then we'll get out.
Here we go.
So I don't know what it is. Flour, sugar, butter, eggs, yeast, milk, raisins, almonds, candied citrus peel, lemon zest, cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, rum, and vanilla extract.
I mean, it's kind of generic cake, you know.
Germany.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks very like.
Evan seems to think Germany.
So it could be German. Yeah, so it's rich buttery batter binds the fruit.
Festive seasons and coffee.
So we'll say Germany. Oh my gosh.
Next one.
McClobbin.
Cooking.
It's a fruitcake from the city of Bremen.
Yum.
That's a good guess, Evan. Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Good job. Very good. All right, so let's move on. That was an easy one.
Bam!
Now you guys do the next two.
Oh, all right. Look at this.
Is that a homunculus?
Let's have a little face kind of thing.
Red homunculus.
Something or other. Flour, yeast, water, sugar, olive oil, salt, cinnamon, cloves, raisins, nutmeg, optional, orange zest, optional as well.
I mean, it looks like an Italian pastry.
So yeah, it's a dish, sweetbread shaped like a wrapped figure. So what does that mean?
Sweetbread, not sweetbreads.
Chest, often decorated. Yeah, it's true.
Could be
spice filled.
Spice.
Traditionally made to commemorate a religious occasion.
Yeah.
Oh, Italy is not a bad guess then.
Yeah. I was thinking
Italy.
maybe France, but go try Italy first.
Italy. Ooh, hot. But it's to the east and south?
Spain?
No,
east
Spain
and south is what?
Oh, east and south.
Greece.
Greece.
South. Greece would
Greece
be.
or Macedonia.
You're right. Greece and Cyprus.
There you go, Greece.
Makes a lot of sense. Lazaraki.
Mediterranean. It was definitely Mediterranean.
Yeah, it looks like a Will It Bread segment, maybe. Lazaraki.
Good.
Yeah, I could look up. Let me put that on the Lazaraki.
I'll buy that for $1.
I would try that. Well, not close, but
they're little ones.
Ever now the tax season's over. You have to join us on a Wednesday afternoon.
Yes, I'll be able to take some time off during the day, and I will join you.
You're only available. Yeah, you only can make it into the studio if you bring a bread. If there's a
is there a bread tax?
Yeah, there's a bread tax. So we've been doing a Will It Bread segment, and so do you have a bread that you like to make, or any bread like pastries or confectionery, maybe.
Yeah, sure. There's a bread I like to purchase. I'll say
Okay,
that.
maybe
you have to make it.
Yeah,
have to make it?
We're trying to do the making.
Like suitable for consumption?
Yes,
sir.
Oh boy! All right. Good luck, everyone.
Dude, if I can make one, you can make one.
You can get help. You can have help.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But it needs to be homemade. Yeah.
All right. Well, challenge accepted.
Okay, very good. All right, let's move on to the next round. Okay, here we go. Pork, egg noodles, cornstarch, soy sauce, garlic, water, salt, black pepper, egg scallions, sesame oil, garlic powder, white pepper, chicken stock, fried shallots, mushrooms.
I mean, it's clearly Asian.
Yeah.
China.
The chopsticks for a
noodle soup.
Thick
broth made with soy sauce and egg.
Could be China.
Could be China. Like an egg drop soup, kind of, but like a fancier one. China.
Wuhan.
Ooh,
yeah. It's
the
Wuhan.
This is the lab.
It looks like a zoonotic stew.
Yeah, they should make a restaurant called Lab Leak.
Lab Leak.
Lab Leak.
It's like LEEK or something.
Oh,
yeah,
like
Lab Leak soup.
Yeah, leak.
Lab
Leak soup.
Lab leak soup.
Oh, I want that. I would try
We're
it.
making that. That'll be next week's. All right, so it's China. It's China, but east.
It's east.
and
Warm.
south of China. Sorry.
East.
Now
you go east
the
of China,
chopsticks also.
It's the ocean. It's Japan. It's to Okinawa, or it's.
That's true.
Well, maybe
there aren't metal chopsticks. So
it could be Korean.
What do you think? Yeah,
could be Korean.
Do we have a North versus South Korea?
I mean, I think I'm only aware of Japan and Korea being east of China.
Mm-hmm.
Like east.
East.
Is Okinawa its own thing?
Okinawa is kind of its own thing, but it's part of Japan.
It's still part of Japan. South Korea still.
Still warm, but now we go the other direction. South.
The other direction of
south and a little west.
A little west.
Philip.
Well, it's. I mean, Taiwan. Are we allowed to say Taiwan?
Yes. Taiwan in this is and not Chinese Taipei. At least in this thing. Oh, it's also Maki Mi is the name because that we missed too. So
Maki Mi. That doesn't really help.
Maki Mi. I mean, I don't know. It's it is technically Taiwan is an option. Should we do Taiwan?
Okay, or go Taiwan.
Nope, but straight south now. So what is straight south?
Vietnam-ish.
Philippines.
Oh, Philippines. Yeah, it could be Philippines.
Philippines. There we go. Maki Mi. Maki Mi is traditional Filipino Chinese noodle soup dish, which makes sense. It's a comfort food in the Philippines, particularly among Filipino Chinese communities. There you go, Maki Mi. I mean, it looks probably pretty good on a cold day. That would probably be pretty good. All right, final score 13,000. All right, not bad. The first one crushed
it saved us.
Second one, not bad. Philippines,
Germany.
Okay. All right. Well, so we'll stop sharing that and we'll get into some questions. Remember, if you have questions, you can ask them in the Discord. Somebody's asking me for the link for Nauticon. Also, if you're coming to Nauticon and you are in the Discord or not in the Discord, there is a link that you can join or you can ping me in the Discord. And you can join the channels that are specifically for Nauticon. So that is a way to talk to other people, do maybe some rideshare activities if you need that, and et cetera, et cetera. I just got to email this. Here you go.
How about that Planet with Life? We're going to talk about that next week. I can give you a preliminary. We can give you a preliminary.
Yeah, let's do that.
The basic facts are, I blogged about it. K218b.
Yeah.
So it is a
big boy. It's a big boy.
Sub-Neptune.
120 light years away, right?
Of
140
red giant. Yeah, something like 120, 140. So it's a red giant star, and this is a sub-Neptune. So the planets go like Earth-like, super Earth, sub-Neptune, Neptune, right? So this is too big to be a super Earth, but not big enough to be a Neptune. It's in between.
Okay.
And interestingly, so it is 8.6 times the mass of Earth, 2.6 times the radius of Earth, which works out to be, a surface gravity of 12.43 meters per second, compared to 9.8 on Earth. So that's
a little heavier.
Yeah, just only like 120. What is that percent out of Earth? So 1.2, 1.3 G. So that's perfectly livable. We could land and take off from that planet.
So you could go there, get jacked, and come back.
So in the atmosphere, we found
Come back
found
here
a chemical that on Earth we only know of from life, dimethyl sulfide. There's also some dimethyl disulfide. And there's 20 times the amount on Earth. So one interpretation of that is that this planet is covered with a large ocean teeming with life, cranking out.
It is large.
Dimethyl sulfide. So, but unfortunately, there are non-living sources or abiotic sources of dimethyl sulfide. So, you can't be 100% sure it's a biosignature.
Wait, there are abiotic sources?
Yeah.
I've heard. Are you sure? I've read contradictory stuff. One scientist said that there is no known abiotic sources, and another person saying there is. So what the hell?
There's no known, but there's potential abiotic sources. On Earth, the only source we know of is biotic, is living critters, algae, I think, specifically. So that's the debate, and we'll give you an update on that debate next Wednesday for next week's show. Like, what are scientists saying about it? We clearly need more data to figure it out.
Absolutely.
We're obviously very, very cautious. Every potential biosignature is crapped out so far. Methane on Mars, probably a geological source. The one on Venus, what was the chemical? Was a mistake. So, we will see. Yeah. But this is a solid candidate. It's a solid candidate.
One of the best that I've come across. You're going to grab this topic, Steve? You want it for next week?
Oh, you could do it. That's fine.
Was it phosphine?
Phosphine, yeah.
Venus?
Yeah. Okay. That is correct.
Just looked it up. Very
so
good.
We shall see.
We shall.
All techno signatures are crapped out too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, that's what hurts. That's what hurts the most, because we should be seeing something. It's just like, crap.
Maybe they left us here.
Maybe we're alone. As Carl Sagan said, someone's got to be first. Maybe we're just maybe we're alone. At least in our galaxy.
That's true.
Sad thought.
Well, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. It would certainly be absolutely fascinating to encounter, even if just over the radio waves, an alien intelligence. But that's a roll of the dice. Sharing our corner of the universe with another spacefaring race.
It's
that is, who knows what their attitude toward us would be. It is an absolute roll of the dice.
I don't think they would come.
We don't know. We have no idea.
But yeah, I know you don't know, but it doesn't make
Luckily, everything
doesn't make a lot of sense. The effort and the time and effort and expense to send a ship or a fleet of ships to a planet that looks promising.
It's probably a good thing that the Milky Way isn't silly with spacefaring civilizations. Like in some sci-fi, it's like there's Alpha Centaurans, like the closest star to us as a civilization. That's probably a good thing, but even though it's disappointing from some perspective, but it would be nice if they were out there somewhere, just comfortably distant, that they would have no way of getting here, but we could sort of
we just FaceTime with them once in a while.
We just FaceTime with them, absolutely.
I mean, the thing is, so going to a planet just to pillage it of resources doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
No, they wouldn't come here to take our water away. That makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
That's like one of the main reasons.
Hydrogen, oxygen.
Mel Gibson said it was.
You don't need us.
Yeah, but what if they can get resources from asteroid belts from the nearest?
Bob,
if they needed human DNA as a resource, they would have to.
So far, we have not found a single Earth-like planet, right? Exoplanet.
What do you mean? What?
Like fully Earth-like. We have not found
fully Earth-like.
No, we have not found a roughly Earth mass planet of a yellowish star in the habitable zone, right? That is not tidally locked or whatever. Like there's some deal killer with it.
No Earth clone out there.
There's no Earth clone out. We have not found one yet. I'm waiting. I'm still. And I periodically look, and I'm assuming I would hear about it.
We get pieces of it, not the whole package.
Not the whole package. Maybe it's fairly rare. We don't know. We don't have it because our survey methods are biased against finding.
Still too small a sample.
Yeah, too small a sample, and
Absolutely.
it's not a random sample. But it's certainly possible that there may not. You may have to go far before you encounter. So it is theoretically possible that a spacefaring race, let's say within 100 light years of us, who could get here within 100 years,
Assuming
and
they've harnessed that power.
The resource that they would want is a planet in the habitable zone. If they are similar to us in terms of their planet is an Earth-like planet.
I disagree, because even if you consider the resources it would take to travel 100 goddamn light years, the effort involved, they could build orbitals. You don't need a planet. You could just build orbitals around your star.
Maybe they don't like living in orbitals. They want to be on a planet.
They're
tired of that.
I hear you. I'm contriving a reason why it might happen. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm just saying that's the one resource that does make sense for it. You want the planet itself and the system. You don't but you wouldn't do it for water and minerals and shit.
The only thing that was super unique that you couldn't get anywhere else would be life
on Earth.
Our
DNA and
right, the genomes, or how about the art and things like that that are unique, that never can be replicated or even programmed.
Then they'd sell it in the street like a mummy.
Yeah, they grind it up. Here's Mona Lisa.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
All right, Steve's out. That's it.
Steve's out.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.
Yeah, we'll do questions. We'll do questions next week.
Okay, question next week. I guess that's that. Bob, good to see you. Ian,
Bob,
good to see you, man. Thanks,
Ian.
Thanks,
everybody. I have to find the.
Thanks for visiting, everybody.
And bada bing, bada
enjoy your
bong.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Enjoy your happy Easter.
Live long and something.
I can't find the actual thing.
Bob, you do the Spock thing, right? You can do that.
Spock.
Can you do it with both hands? That's
hell yeah,
nice.
Yeah, dope. All right, goodbye.
Spent my whole childhood.
He found it.
I found it. Goodbye.
Skeptic's Guide to the Universe is produced by SGU Productions, dedicated to promoting science and critical thinking. For more information, visit us at theskepticsguide.org. Send your questions to info@theskepticsguide.org. And if you would like to support the show and all the work that we do, go to patreon.com/skepticsguide and consider becoming a patron and becoming part of the SGU community. Our listeners and supporters are what make SGU possible.
I did see it. No. You stepped out of the capsule and you kissed the ground. I saw that. I was watching. You got to trust me on that. No, I know there's people out there. Oh, I gotta go. Hang on. I'll call you back.
The chat knew. They knew.
That was, it's my friend.
Good friend.
Good friend.
80, but with the Y is actually for the yen or something. I don't know.
Is that what that is? Well,
yeah, sure. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe the Perry's.
Well, folks.
Well, it's happened.
It happened.
He's here.
I'm back. The real show can now begin once again. After April 15th.
All the forms have been filled. For now.
Yes, for now.
The forms have been
That is
filled.
the correct way to put that for now.
Some of the forms have been
if anyone has ever been on an extension for their tax returns, then you know what the second season is kind of like. The nice thing about the second season, tax season, is that I don't have to try to get hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, and it is hundreds of tax returns, not easy ones either, done in like 100, in 90 days, basically a 90-day window, roughly. So now I got about 100 more to go that are on our extension, but I have until like September 15th or October 15th to get those done. So that is a much more much more reasonable,
leisurely
way to go about it. So yeah, I hate that it's April 15th. That's tax day. I can't stand it. But in any case, regardless, that's the job. That's the work. That's what they pay me for. And that is that. Brad got his 4868 filed on time. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, and by the way, tax tip, if you are if you have to file a United States tax return and you are living outside, if your residence is outside of the United States, you have until June 15th to file a tax return or to go on extension. So I actually have a few clients who actually fit that category. And they're like, I got to get you my tax stuff. I said, no, you don't. Wait till after. Don't bombard me now with it. We'll get it done by June 15th.
And if you don't get it done, you won't be let back in. Well, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
You'll get a very, very sternly worded letter.
Yeah, something like that.
From one of the many IRS computer systems that spit letters out all day long.
As of now, yes, that's true.
Did I mirror my camera or move my printer around? How am I appearing? Am I mirrored?
Yeah, it is backwards. Yeah, sorry.
I'm backwards? Yeah, I don't know why that's. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. I should have asked that before. Do I control that?
You could. I think you do have control under the gear. Like you can flip it.
Gotcha.
Some people like to see themselves, but then it's wrong for us.
No, I hate that. I mean, I like seeing it like this. Like
yes, like what it is.
Yes, what I actually am, not some.
What you am.
Chiron. What is it called? When the chirality is when you have like the hands. You know, opposite. The opposite, right? Chirality. I do not like the chiralic version of myself. I just made that up, and hey, if my president can do it, then I can do it.
Hey,
chiralic is now a word. It is now a word. Put it in the book.
It sounds like a good game. And also, have you found any games in your time between last we saw you and tax season ending? Are there any new games in your life?
Not a single one. I kid you not. There is zero time for me to play games or do anything else or barely breathe during these last few weeks of the season. So no, there's nothing new. I had to kind of bail out on my Which Game First team for a little while, a couple weeks there, so that they held the ship down while I was absent because I needed the time to do my work. But I am going to be obviously rolling back right into that very, very soon, and we have the board meeting, which is going to officially kind of kick off Nauticon.
It's happening
on that Thursday. That will be the first event of that day in which we're going to have a select amount of people, 50 people. Ian, I know it sold out at some point. Did Jay reopen it?
We did, yeah. So there was 2 people
who had to.
No, a couple people had to leave, and then I accidentally left it open for 2 extra. But then 2 other people had to leave. So
okay.
So I think we're back at 50 people, so it should be fine.
In which most of the hosts of Nauticon, of course, myself and a few other maybe special guests will come, and together for a couple hours we are just going to jam out some cool board games. I actually sent everybody who was on that list initially and asked them their opinion as to which kind of games, which games specifically they wanted to play. I actually have.
Which one's first?
Right here, and I got nice feedback from people. And in the next, actually this weekend, what I'm going to be working on is collating everybody's suggestions, notes, and narrowing this list because it was almost 100 games long down to a manageable amount of games that we'll bring. We're not bringing 100 games with us, 100 different games. But based on your suggestions and what you want to play, that is what we are going to do. So board games will be a significant part of Nauticon coming up in just a couple of weeks. And I am so looking forward to that. So I'm definitely getting back into board gaming starting this weekend.
That's right.
So looking forward to it.
Also, something that is going to be mentioned on the show tomorrow, but I might as well mention since it's on the website now. A bunch of people who were VIPs or didn't get to be VIPs were asking for some more content during Nauticon, amazingly. So we added 2 private shows during Friday and Saturday during lunch. So if you don't, if you want to bring in your own bag lunch or you don't care about eating, there are 2 ticketed events for the private shows on Friday and Saturday at 12 p.m. It's on the website now under the Nauticon link. If you already have tickets, you just hit the drop down that says already have passes, and then the check boxes if you want to go to that too. But we got, a ton of emails that people were like, we want more. And we're giving you so much. At this point, we have to also just hang out, y'all.
But there are things happening that you don't even know about, things we didn't even publicize or talk about yet that are also going to be happening. It will be a chock full weekend. I kid you not. There's a lot going on.
Get a bag lunch if you're going to be there the whole time. It's going to be a thing. Make the logo an ice cream cup and call it Nauticon. That's a good idea. We should have an ice cream. Maybe next year.
I like that.
Which there's some interesting information about that, but I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, yeah. We can't talk about it.
But I'll just say something. But Nauticon, that would be a pretty fun event. Maybe everybody makes an ice cream flavor of some sort. Dishes it out.
Very cool.
Scotacon, yes. If you were a kilt.
If we go to Scotland, we can call it Scotacon.
Scotacon. Anyway, so yeah, you just joined. Well, you just joined at somebody just said that I just joined. Is it just a Evan solo show?
Yeah. Well, you missed the warm-up act before with
that's right.
Steve someone was here and his brother Johnny.
Johnny.
But now it's the Ian and Evan show, as
that's
it should
right.
be forever. So
and
welcome.
No longer Jay doesn't even remember that this exists.
No, he doesn't. Right? Yeah, Jay's been lax on the post extreme show, as we used to call it.
That's right.
I love we have these few minutes for as often as I can be here. But now that my main season's over, I'll be here more often on Fridays, and I love these few minutes that I get to talk with you directly with nobody else other than Ian.
Mm-hmm.
Ian's great, by the way. Ian is wonderful. But Steve's not saying something, and Jay's not yelling about something, and Bob's not shoving a robot in everyone's face.
Look at this. Everything else is done.
I have your undivided attention. It's wonderful, and I so appreciate it that you stick around to just hear me kind of talk at my camera for the most part and hear Ian. Ian would put his camera on, but he won't do that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but seriously,
my cameras are focused on the 3D printers that are currently running. They're building more of the rockets and the platforms and stuff that will be available at Nauticon. So hopefully they come out well enough that everybody likes it. Don't tell Steve, I know. And so if you find links throughout the week, think of us, see something weird on Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, whatever, send it into the Discord, tag us on TikTok. We have a bunch of things coming up next Wednesday, but we always like to see some other weird happenings and goings on that you want to see the guys talk about on Wednesday. Maybe we'll get Evan on this Wednesday's live stream or a Wednesday in the future. We shall see if he brings a bread.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because we mentioned that during the
little bread segment
show, and they mentioned a bread tax, and
There's a bread tax.
I mean, so that is real, right?
That is real. That is real. So we do a segment called Will It Bread, which sounds more like creative than it is, but it is essentially just making bread basically of your favorite variety. So I made an Irish brown bread. Then I made like a Japanese milk bread. Bob just made some focaccia last week. Jay made like his rustic sourdough bread loaf, which was very good. And then we rank them, and we just have a little bread segment that people can follow along. You could also alert the Discord, which I did one time and I forgot to do the next week, but alert the Discord of what bread you will be doing, so maybe they can make it along with us at home. There are some suggestions, chatters. You can always give us some suggestions if you want to see some. It doesn't have to purely be bread. It can be like the first thing I made was a Neenish tart, which is like an Australian little jelly-filled whatever tart thing, which is good. But if you have some stuff unevened bread, that's very funny. That's very funny.
Hold on, Bob. Thank you for typing that. That's very clever. I love that.
If you have anything, you could you have any ideas, any recipes that you enjoy that you would like to see us try, you know what I mean, is then you can hit us up in the Discord or send us an email or whatever, and XYZ. All right. Anything else we want to get to? Which game first coming out on Monday?
Which game first? Yes, Monday. I will be back on to the live presentation of Which Game First, which is every Monday night, 8 o'clock East Coast, USA. We live stream a game, and of course, our regularly scheduled podcast coming out now, hopefully regularly on Mondays. I've lost a little bit of track on that because I've kind of been in the shadows for a little while. But every other Monday should be our new release for a new full episode of Which Game First. And then every other week comes out, our bonus points, which is our exclusive second podcast we do at Which Game First for our patrons. So if you want to become a patron of Which Game First, head on over to whichgamefirst.com, hit the button, become a patron, and it's a $3 in. That is all we are asking. $3 gets you in, gets you the extra podcast, and many of our thanks. If you can do more, great, but we know dollars are tight, so but $3 is the minimum in. And we really do appreciate any help anyone can give us for that. Also, we have a new co-host. Amy Toms is her name, and she joined us a couple of weeks ago, and she's kind of actually been helping fill the gap that I've left for the last couple of weeks by participating on the Monday nights. And Amy's super cool. And she's young, energetic, and she works at a board game shop. And she is immersed in the world of board games, very much so. Her parents are very much whom I've met before because they are also board game enthusiasts. She comes from an entire background having to do with board games, and she's very cool and adds a real cool dimension, I think, to our lineup. So, you'll be hearing more from Amy as the weeks and months go on. And actually, for those of you coming to Nauticon, you might actually be able to meet at least one, if not two, or maybe three of the other hosts of Which Game First, who may be coming along to help us organize and run the board meeting, the board game event that we are doing.
That's true.
So very cool.
Very cool.
Should we leave it there and pick it up?
We can leave it there. Yeah, I will
week?
announce. John was saying I should announce so you can make it at home. I will. I'll do that. If Evan gives me a thing or anybody else, I will try to get that from them. Olivia, I see all the links you post. I just ignore certain ones. No, I highly recommend. What was the best bread so far? The Irish brown bread ranked highest. One of the high. It was the same S tier. So there's a bunch of things. There was that. There was Jay's rustic sourdough, and there was another one that I don't remember what was. The other one was really high, but those. If you watch the episode, the Wednesday live streams, rather, you'll see a tier list that I make on the fly. Somebody said I have a mighty Zoji Rushi from the late 90s, which is like I just got a Zoji Rushi, which is a fancy rice maker. At least, well, it's a brand. I guess they make bread makers too. But the Zoji Rushi, excellent rice comes out of that. It's well worth the investment. I love calling you out. Okay, thank you so much. All right, everybody. I think that's it. Right?
That is that. Ian, thank you so much. Everyone in the audience, thank you so much. That's Rachel. Rachel says hello.
Nice to Rachel. I saw a shadow. I saw Rachel's shadow.
Yeah, kiddo. All right.
I saw Rachel's shadow, so that means 4 more weeks of spring. I don't know. I'm happy. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.